I grew up in Pennsylvania, and my dad was a trumpet player through high school. And so there was a Boy Scout bugle hanging on our wall that I started playing when I was probably 3. So that was my first instrument. And then I used to play on his trumpet as well. And then when the elementary school was offering instruments for band, I chose French horn because my mother said it sounded pretty. And they were free. You didn't have to rent them. So I wanted to help my parents. So I picked French horn. And I wanted to play something loud as well, something that could produce some sound, because my mother had played flute in high school. And she said, don't play flute. Anyway, so that's where I started. And then when I was 16, I auditioned for Juilliard. Before that, I had gone to Canadian Music School in Vermont, where I studied with Carolyn Kunicki, who just retired a few years ago from the Florida Orchestra. So she was a big mentor of mine. And she suggested I take a lesson with Julie Landsman, who teaches at Juilliard, who's principal at Lamont. I auditioned for Juilliard when I was 16, and I got in. So that changed a lot of plans in my life. So I went to Juilliard and I studied with Julie Landsman. And then after that, I had options. I was going to either do my master's at Juilliard, go to New World and train in their internship orchestra. But I was at the Aspen Music Festival, and I decided to take a Colorado Symphony audition that was open for assistant horn at the time. And my plans once again were disrupted because I got the job. So when I was 21, I started with the symphony, and I had a brief time at St. Louis Symphony where I played for 2 years in the early 2000s. Wound up back in Colorado, and I've been there ever since. My teaching philosophy is that horn presents its own special challenges. Don't agree with people who say the French horn is hard. You know, many people say oboe and French horn, those are the hardest instruments. It has its challenges, however, if you approach it correctly, it's not a difficult instrument to play. But you need to, I think, spend extra care on the physical ability of playing the instrument, more so than an instrument that's a little easier to just slap down the keys and play the right note. We have to do a lot more connections with the notes and a lot more physical work to prepare us to play the French horn than maybe some other instruments. Obviously, being a virtuoso on your instrument, any instrument, is difficult. So my philosophy of teaching is a real focus on fundamentals, consistency with your warm-up, and being very in touch with both aspects of playing where you use your mind and you're using verbal language, but also a time when you're only feeling what you're doing in your body and you're letting go of the constant chatter, so that playing the instrument becomes a very natural thing in your life. So a typical week for a horn student at Lamont would be your private lesson being your most intense work with me, where we dive into the fundamentals. We check what you need the most work on. We go for your weakest thing in your playing first to raise it up from the bottom. And then brass performance class is where you are perfecting solo pieces or practicing excerpts in front of the brass faculty and the other brass students. It's a high intensity experience, but it also has a lot of value in all aspects of life because it is a challenging class. You will also have orchestra rehearsal, orchestra concerts. You'll have wind ensemble rehearsals and wind ensemble concerts. You will also have chamber music. Studio class, we try to have a lot of fun. We also are using the things that the studio in general needs to do together. Also, studio class is an opportunity where you get extra time with me and you bond with your colleagues. You're also getting a chance to play for your colleagues, so more under pressure performing experience. The chamber music concerts are my favorite to attend. So all the students will be performing in chamber groups, more than one if they want to, and the chamber music concert is really fun. They also perform sometimes in opera when the orchestra is doing opera. So you get pit experience also the regular orchestra concerts, also the wind ensemble concerts. So there's lots of performing. The hardest performing experience is the brass performance class, because you're bringing a new piece, usually not something you've performed yet, and you have that added pressure of learning how to manage how you feel about playing in front of your colleagues and the faculty. Living and working and studying in Colorado is an amazing place to live. Whether it's temporary or permanent, it's a beautiful place. The culture is thriving. The art scene in Denver is still growing. It's amazing already, but it continues as the city grows to get better and better. Regular attendance at the Colorado Symphony is available, and I love facilitating that for my students and my friends. It's an orchestra that I don't think a lot of people know is as good as it is. And I believe that my teaching method and approach really works. I've seen and gotten feedback that a year of studying with me will push your playing, especially any physical limitations. I can show you exactly what you need to do to get past bad habits, things that maybe you've never thought about, playing efficiently, eliminating excess body movement that is holding your horn playing back. The other thing I bring to the table is many years of experience in the orchestral world. I've won 3 professional auditions in my career, which I'm so grateful for. But I know what it takes to win an audition, and I regularly have people all over the state that come to me only for audition prep. So if auditions are something you want to pursue, I've got the experience to help you get there. Also, studying at DU is a really unique experience of being surrounded by some really exceptional students. The opportunities to study fields outside of music are there. My students have taken law classes, business law classes, and to explore other things you might be interested in. It's a great opportunity for that.